little alien.
For everybody in the TikTok world, you listen to Jay. For everybody else, Rock and Recovery. Haley, share this out, please. Welcome to Rock and Recovery. Your host is Jay. Today I've got a special guest. His name is also Jason, but we're not going to go into that. He's formerly known as Justice. And Justice, how you going? How's it doing today?
Doing good. Sun is shining. It's a pretty day.
Nice. So you ready for this morning?
I got coffee, so I assume so.
So I just want to let everybody know that we do recover, and we recover out loud on purpose to let everybody else know that they can also recover. You know, it's just a story of hope, because our stories will be somebody else's survival guide when it comes down to it. And Justice, why don't you just jump right in and start sharing your experience and your story, how you grew up, what led you into addiction, how you got out. And we both did a lot of time in prison. We'll probably tell some prison stories, but let's try to stay away from that part.
Okay. Well, if anything, prison really kind of saved my butt. Anyway, so my name's Jason. I go by Justice. I grew up here in the backwood pines of Deep East Texas. When I was young, I had a really bad broken home. My dad, he was a alcoholic, really bad, and he was very abusive towards me and my mother. Um, Although while she was around, she took the backlash of most of it. As I got older, and I would come up here and visit for the weekends or be with him for the weekends, the abuse passed on to me. Uh, he, I say about 8 or 9 years old, he would use branding irons and lengths of water hose, chunks of wood that would go into the wood stove. I mean, whatever he could grab. And he was just a violent person. And when my mother split up with him, she met my stepdad. He was fresh out of the Air Force, and they moved me down to Houston from Lufkin, um, particularly in South Houston and Pasadena area, Deer Park area. Um, when I was a troubled kid in general, without all the abuse, I'm a natural paranoid schizophrenic. Um, let's see, between the ages of 5 and 16, I was in 7 psychiatric hospitals, in and out, in and out. My mother didn't know how to how to handle me, how to control me. Um, Normal discipline for children, it never worked on me. Um, and hell, there was one time, I think it was my fourth time, she checked me into a hospital, went right back downstairs, pregnant with my little sister, checked herself in. She needed a break. I don't blame her. Let's see. My last psychiatric hospital, I got out when I was 15 or 16, and it wasn't much longer after that I had hit the street. Um, Back in those days, a man's legal age is 17. Um, but they kicked me out when I was 16 with the help of Deer Park Police. Now I'm gonna backtrack a bit, and my drug usage started. I was 13. 13.
That's
A
about
guy I
the same
went to
time I started.
Yeah, a guy I went to school with. His name was Billy Turrentine.
Hmm.
I really liked him. I used to get picked on a lot in school. Big ears. I had buck teeth before I got my teeth fixed. I looked like a little alfalfa, and so people used to pick on me a lot. And when I met Billy, he started sticking up for me. Um, I went over to his house one day to go pick up a pack of cigarettes I had saved my lunch money for, and little did I realize that that was going to be my first time smoking weed, and I got stuck for like 4 hours stoned looking at a TV. When I made it home, the cops were at my house eating sandwiches and drinking coffee in my garage with my mother. That didn't end well. So by the time I got out into the streets, just before I turned 17, um, the neighbors next to us, and I grew up in a decent home. Let's get this straight. I grew up in a decent home in a what was back then like a low middle class home. My family worked from the ground up, and they gave me a good upraising. A lot of the trouble was myself. My neighbors were the wrong crowd. Um, they were dealers and users, and all the crime that I learned from them. Well, when I got kicked out, I went next door. They were the only ones to take me in. They didn't give me really a place to live. So between, I say 16 and maybe 24, 25, I spent a lot of time homeless. I had friends. I'd sleep on couches. I would go here and there. But for the most part, I stayed homeless. I slept in old school buses. I stayed on top of roofs of businesses where nobody could see me. Um, I stayed in people's storage shed. A lot of things. But it quit being about me being homeless and it becoming a choice because it was easier to live like this while I was adapting to the life that people were teaching me how to survive. They didn't teach me the right way to live. Nobody taught me how to go out and get a job and work for what I wanted at this time in my life. Um, they just taught me how to survive. And so I fell real fast into the drug life and into the dealing, into the hustling and everything that goes with it. Um, by the time I was 22, 21, I had done everything except for black tar and a needle.
Mm.
I've done everything else. Speed, peyote, PCP, uh, the pills, all of it. Um, I've never really been a big drinker, never have, and I think that's because of my dad. Um, my addiction began. Let me rephrase that because it began long before I knew it. A lot of us recovering addicts, and we'll find this out in recovery through our sobriety, that when we develop our addiction, um, we don't really know it right away because we don't know the signs of it.
You know,
We're just out. Go ahead.
I say addiction's a side effect of the way we coped because, honestly, uh, if we're going or to fit in or whatever the situation may be, we didn't start off as wanting to be an addict.
Correct. Um,
It's a vicious side effect that we couldn't get out of, and when we do start to get out of it, we realize that's exactly what it was. It's just a side effect.
um, I began because, like I said, my buddy Billy, I wanted to fit in. I wanted to fit in, and everybody else around me was doing things. Now there were times that the people around me, the people next door that took me in, like they would snort powder, and that was not my thing. I didn't want to do stuff like that. And so I never did that. Um, and it was about partying and back then having a good time. Back then you could have a good time, smoke smoke some green, have a few beers or something and be okay. Nowadays it's so it's cut with such shit that you take one hit of anything, and it might be your last. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I developed an addiction over time, and I started using more and more harder drugs because I didn't want to face the fact of where my life was. Didn't have a family, didn't have a home. I was stealing to eat. Um, I was out here robbing people just to get by. And I didn't like waking up where I would wake up and be who I was. So my only release, my only getaway was to go get high. Um, and I think that is where, when you realize that, I think is when you realize whether or not you admit it that you do have some type of a problem. Um, when Now, mind you, all the way into my early 20s, it was still fun to do. It was still fun for me. I started prison in my early 20s. My first time down, I was 17. Got out when I was 18, started going back when I was 22, 23 years old, somewhere around there. Um, this is an effect of my addiction, is that it's hard for me to remember time correctly all the time. It's hard for me to remember where to put the sugar after I just made a cup of coffee.
That's funny you should say that because I remember making a peanut butter jelly sandwich one day and I'm like, where in the fuck is the peanut butter? And it took me about a week to find it. It was in my fridge.
Yeah, and not in the pantry where it's supposed to be.
No, it was in the fridge.
I try to put the coffee pot back into the freezer, and I get to the freezer and I realize it don't, and I'm right here in front of it.
Yeah,
So these are some of the effects, the long-term effects that our substance abuse causes, and we laugh at it now, but it's easy to laugh at it because then it kind of takes the seriousness away enough that we can talk about it, that we
right.
can talk about the damage, and it hopefully helps somebody else, because when you focus on the damage too much and you don't make light of it in some type of way, it's still got a really bad hold on you, and it's hard for some people to talk about. um Prison, I have, what, 9 felonies, like 83, 86 misdemeanors just in this county alone.
I think I've got
uh,
19, so I got you a little bit beat there.
Man, heck. And they range from everything from
Yeah.
trafficking to burglaries, to robberies, to assault on police officers, assault with deadly weapons.
Now,
I,
when you say trafficking, that's dealing.
yes, cross
Okay.
state lines. Um,
Yes. Yes.
Cross state lines. Yeah, not human trafficking. Never
I
in my
just
life.
wanted to make sure, I just wanted to clear that up. I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody else needed to too, though.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not a coyote.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, Not a coyote. I couldn't do that anyway. That's one thing I probably could never do.
No.
Anyway, so now in prison, mind you, when I was growing up around a bunch of violence, mainly towards myself. My dad, that's how he was. He was violent. Um, and then I started hanging around with the wrong crowd. Um, and they started teaching me violence. So nobody ever gave me a hug. Nobody ever loved on me and showed me affection. So when I went into prison encourages violence. It's
It
okay,
does.
compared to out here, to where people look down upon it or they're scared of it or whatever. So it's like something unlocked inside me, and I was free to be who I was. I was free to act out in anger. I was free to act out when I was hurt or in pain. I could act out violently or angrily. Um, if I said that right.
You
And
did.
just years and years of it. I joined a gang, and they did the same thing. They encouraged violence, but then they also started showing me it's the first time I understood what family was, because it's not just about the violence. They would take care of me. They would it was about protecting one another. It was about feeding one another. When one of our loved ones or somebody close to us passed, we were there for one another like a family is supposed to be. And this is the first time that I understood family. You know, it was the wrong family, but it's the first time. So a lot of people that are like me throughout their childhood and their young adulthood, this is what draws them to organizations. Um, it's not mainly for protection or because they want to be a part of something and be some big badass. That's hardly ever the case. That's the few rare breeds that that do that, and it's usually a bad stereotype. Um, but I'm push forward. As the years, I did 15 flat. As the years passed, um, I guess I got to an age where I began to mature, and it got old. It got old sitting in a 5 by 9 cell for 15 years. Um, hardly ever coming out. I was always on maximum or medium security, so my coming out of my cell was very limited. I did 8 flat of that 15 in seg. I came out 3 hours a week. I hardly ever came out for shower because paranoia and schizophrenia ran wild. It was still unchecked, and it was fueled by the drugs that I've already done. So it kind of just boosted it up. I didn't want people coming in my cell shaking me down unnecessarily. And the longer you spend in such a confined place without realizing it, you develop sensory deprivation. From you don't really, all you see is day and night, cold, hot. You don't see time pass. You don't see the world pass. Human contact was another. To this day, I don't like really being touched. Um, the only human contact for them 8 years was a guard holding you by your arm, escorting you wherever you're going. And when you come out into the world and there's so many people around you, and some people bump into you, some people want to give you a hug. If you're in a relationship, your wife or whoever may want to cuddle up, and it doesn't feel comfortable because you're no longer used to that human contact. Um, but I say about the last three, about the last 3 years in, um, really had a change in me. Rehabilitation, at least in Texas prisons, is solely upon the individual. The,
Right.
yeah, the system does not offer rehabilitation. It does not want you rehabilitated. It is solely upon the individual.
So they didn't
And
make you take a class if you didn't want to. You actually had to seek it out and find it yourself.
yes, yes. Um, and I was on Ferguson unit, and I got popped with a welding rod up
Mm.
under my right here up under my arm. It went in my lung, through my lung, and then into my right lung. And I sat down there on in transit and lockup for about 8 days before I got shot to John Seeley down in the hospital in Southeast Texas. And it was over my radio. It was all a mistake. I was a mistaken person they were looking for, but it happened over in there it's $20. Out here, it was a $6 radio from the Dollar General.
Yeah.
It's not the first time I'd been stabbed, but um it was the last time I was stabbed in there, and it really kind of opened my eyes up to how much value my life had in there over nothing, over nothing. Um, and I think that had the major impact that I didn't want to be in prison anymore. I didn't want to live the life that I was living. So when um when I got transferred off that unit, I got shot to all red unit, and it was kind of laid back. Um, kinda. It was an easy unit. It was really laid back. Had a good celly, and I started thinking more about actually getting out because while I was doing all that time, I never thought that I was gonna make it home by how I was acting and the situations I was putting myself in, the dangers that I was purposely putting myself. I didn't know if I was gonna make it home. So after this happened and I started healing up, I made the decision that I wanna make it home. And I think that had a really big effect. When I was released in 2019, November, I was released on the 21st, 1 week before Thanksgiving. I got to eat food. I got to eat some good food. Um, Now, I did not want to be released as much as I wanted to make it out of prison.
Mhm.
This free world really
It's
terrified me.
scary.
It was. I was on the walls unit down in Huntsville, and I was I was down there for about 2 weeks waiting. And I'd watch people come and go, come and go, come and go, getting released and getting out on parole and whatnot. Well, when my day
They
came,
come right back.
uh, I was terrified. I locked up the door. I put paper and glue inside the lock to where they couldn't open it and whatnot. I tied down the door. They had to what we call them the Ninja Turtles, but they had to run a team, a 5-man team to bust that door open and bring me out in handcuffs.
Wow, they cell extracted you to release you?
Huh?
They
Yeah.
cell extracted you to release you.
I was terrified about coming out. And when the lieutenant, here's what's crazy is when the lieutenant came up, it's like, man, why? What the hell's going on? Why don't you want to come out before they ran the team? It's like, what the hell? I said, man, I don't want to go home. I want
Yeah.
to stay right where I'm at. I want to go back to a unit. And he's like, we can't do that. And I wasn't crying, but it was getting to me. And the lieutenant, I think he understood, but he also understood he had a job he had to do. Um, And this is something that I think is not talked about a lot. That people that do long periods of time, they get institutionalized. And this free world, it's open. There's no structure. It's chaotic. There's no discipline. Everybody is out in their own little world, not caring about nothing going on around 'em. And it's a scary place. Uh, it took me a long time to even be able to say that. But anyway, they got me off the cell, got me dressed, got me my paperwork all booked out, handed me a check, and they pushed me. I was still cuffed. They walked me outside the golden doors, unhooked me, gave me a little push, and shut the door behind me. And that's when I broke down. My mother was there to pick me up. My mother and my aunt, and my mom thought I was crying because I was glad I was free. I was
Wow.
scared to be free. Um, I come back here to Lufkin, and I go right back to being homeless. I was living in a tent in 23-degree weather in the wintertime. Um, this is right before COVID hit, right before it hit, like 2, 3 months before it hit. Um, and I wasn't staying with family. I wasn't doing none of this. So but I didn't want to go back to what I was doing. Um, it didn't bother me that I was homeless, but I wasn't going to stay this way. Like I had a different mindset. I had a different motivation. I was into this about 2 months, 2 months, 2.5 months or so. Uh, I was selling, I was selling bud, but had refused at that time to sell anything harder. I didn't want to go back into the hustling game because I knew where that was going to lead me. Um, I had started working for a liquidation company, holding signs for businesses that were going out of business. Get the little 75% off signs and whatnot. I was doing that. I was working for a carnival that was in town, putting it up, running it, and then helping to tear it down. I had gotten a group of people together that had different skills, carpentry or whatever, glass work. And when I would find a job, that I couldn't do, I would go get this person, or so said somebody, and I would help them get the job for 10% of their daily pay. That way I had some kind of income coming in. I met my wife, my fiance. Uh, I was sleeping in that tent. She had just gotten out of a bad relationship, and she had put money down on this little RV about the size of this porch. Yeah, about the size of this porch. I moved in with her, and she was in active use, uh, doing speed. Um, I began using again, and for about a year and a half or so, I began using again, and in a way, it helped me cope with what was going on in my head. But at the same time, it fueled that same anger and psychosis and
Mhm.
paranoia that I had dealt with previously. It was beginning to start the cycle again.
Resurface, yeah.
Yeah, it was beginning to start the cycle again. We we moved from the RV to a 3 bedroom apartment. Uh, Still using, and we were trying to get her kids back. They weren't taken by the state or anything. We were trying to get ourselves right so they could come back home. They were staying with family. Um, After, I think it was right after the deep freeze that we had in Texas a while back, some years back. Uh, right after that, we moved out here to where we are now. Um, Out here into the woods. This is her father-in-law's property. Um, he stays back over yonder somewhere, but everybody out here is kin. And it's so far in the backwoods that while I was going through withdrawals and trying to deal with the psychosis, not just from the drugs, but from the PTSD and the survivor's guilt and the post incarceration syndrome that a lot of people suffer and deal with coming back out into this world. Um, this was the isolation was kind of healthy because I could scream and nobody hear, or my
Yeah.
father-in-law would actually understand. He's 23-year retired army vet, so I mean he understood some of the screams and whatnot. So we got back out here, and it took me about a year out here, about a year, for me to allow my brain to start um, not wire itself back together, but learn how to cope with the wiring that I have now. When we use hard drugs for longer periods of time, you know, something in our heads break. Um, we a lot of people say they're wired wrong. Some wires get cut, and like we're different. And the thing about recovery isn't learning how to get yourself back together to who you were, but learning how to cope with who you are. Um, you can't ever go back. We can never
No.
go back and get tomorrow back. We can't go undo tomorrow. We can't go change nothing. So
And
we
you
have
should
to
never let
learn.
your past define and make you who you are right now. Yes, it did a lot to shape you. Yes, you learned a lot of things. It just made you stronger to be able to do this. Exactly. That's it.
Uh, our pain does not. I mean, our past does not define our future.
Absolutely not.
That is one of my sayings. Uh, I had jumped on Clapper one day. Um,
Squirrel
Caitlin,
moment.
yeah, just for, oh man, look, I do not promote Clapper. I do not promote it. Um, I do promote TikTok. I
Yeah.
love the TikTok. Anyway, so I met my life coach on Clapper, right? He's down in South Carolina right now. I've never met him face to face, But from the first day that I started talking with him and he took me on under his wing, he dealt with all the craziness, all the withdrawals. He dealt with it all. I would call, one minute I'd be screaming, next thing I'd be crying, and then I didn't know what was going on next. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to go into HEB and go grocery shopping without lashing out at somebody violently just because they're too close. I didn't know how to do it so much. Um, and he walked me through every bit of it. Um, and it takes time. And lately, what we say about the last year and a half. Yeah, about the last year and a half. Um, I've gotten square with a lot of my past, and that brings peace. When you can get square, when you can accept the past, the good, the bad, and the ugly, just accept it because you sure can't change it. Um, a kind of peace comes over you when you learn to forgive yourself
Mm.
and understand that some things were not your fault and it wasn't your doing. Like my dad, he beat on me. It was not my fault. I had nothing to do with it. He had his own demons that he didn't understand how to deal with. And him lashing out at me was just how he focused on it. And I started learning that I was kind of the same way. I lashed out at people and broke up homes. I got people, parents and children, addicted to drugs and ruined homes. The people I hurt while committing crimes, the people I hurt while I was in prison. Uh, you just got to forgive yourself. Sometimes that's really hard to do because you feel like you don't deserve it, but everybody deserves forgiveness for what they've done. Um, everybody deserves it. Everybody deserves a second chance, third, fourth, fifth chance. As long as you're trying, you deserve that chance. Uh,
So what made
now,
you
go
what
ahead.
actually got you clean? What made you when was your last day?
March 27th, 2001.
That was the last day you picked up anything and tried to
Uh,
numb yourself.
we we picked up, me and my wife, we picked up an 8 ball and went down to Houston. I was going to go show her where I grew up at, my old stomping ground, and they don't look the same.
Oh no, they don't.
Uh, so we went down there, got a motel room. I spun the bowl, and I was over. I was done. I was like, man, I don't want this no more. It's not doing what it used to do. When I found out that I could spin a bowl and go eat something, I knew it wasn't no fun anymore.
So
Uh,
you've got 24 years of continuous recovery off your DOC.
I have, what year is this?
25.
2005. March of 26 will be 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you said 2021. I'm sorry. I thought you
Yeah.
said 2001.
Oh no, 2001 is when I started going to
Yeah.
all of it. When I was cut loose and I started going through everything. So, yeah, I just got tired. Like nothing, it didn't do it for me anymore. And we come back after that little trip. Um, and I wasn't out of addiction yet, but I was off of my DOC. Look, now let me clarify this. My DOC was anything that took me out of a sober mind frame, anything. So it's been a very slow process. It is a work in progress. Um, I came back and I got on K2. Uh,
Mm.
I used to smoke it now and again when I was in prison, and in there it's a lot because it's more potent in prison because they spray and dry, spray and dry, spray.
Yep.
Out here it's just regular. And I underestimated it, and we were smoking almost an ounce a day.
Mm,
Um,
wow. Of
uh,
K2, the stuff that people were smoking to and basically going into seizures.
yeah, in prison,
Yeah.
I seen somebody take a roll a stick up that's smaller than a toothpick,
Yep.
and they would take and they would fall over with a seizure and die just off of that. Um,
I've seen him
and
go straight from standing up to a plank that he went
boom,
straight up and straight back down, just that fast.
uh, I used to smoke it out of a little pipe,
Yeah.
little old metal one, my old schools, and
TV antenna.
I couldn't. No, it looked like some nuts and bolts
Yeah.
in an L shape. Yeah. So, and I had to have a hit about every 15 to 20 minutes, or I would start shaking. I would get dizzy. I would
Wow.
get nauseous.
And that
Uh,
was while in prison.
no, that's what out here after
Okay.
I got off of speed.
Okay.
Um, it got to a point, and this is the first time I've said this. When we moved out here, at some point or another, when I went to pick up a sack, I dropped a bunch in the truck in the truck and between the seat and the door. And once we moved out here, right before we moved out here, I had alienated myself from my dealer because the only way I could not do it is if I didn't have a supply. And so if I was didn't have a dealer, I couldn't go nowhere to get it. It was part of me cutting myself off from the substance. Um,
Right.
and so I went through that now, and I found the shit that I had dropped once I had moved out here. And I was taking bowls of it at a time, and it got down to the last bit, and I was taking these stems or these sticks that are in it, and I was chopping it up real fine.
Mhm.
I mean, just for half a hit. And I sat in here in the bedroom one day, and I felt like such a fucking crackhead. I felt like, and boy, hey, I smoked some shit. I've been
Yeah.
through some shit, but I felt like such a worthless crackhead. I was embarrassed of myself, and I burnt all my paraphernalia, all of it. Um, we vacuumed out the entire truck so that I knew I couldn't go over there and look for more. Um, after that, I went through about 3 weeks of paranoia and sickness, throwing up. I couldn't eat. I sure couldn't sleep more than 45 minutes a night. Um, I thought my wife was telling people where I was at,
Mm.
and they were coming for me, and I held the house hostage. I mean, my paranoia was out of control. Um, it was recently after this that I had met my life coach. Um, after all of this, I stayed smoking weed. I thought that it was helping me keep my anger low, help me maintain some of the paranoia and the schizophrenia that's in my head. Um, and that was wrong. It was a lie that I lived for a little bit. Um, but I stayed smoking bud. And we were spending 60, 70 every other day or so, just so I could stay just so I could stay smoking. When what was it?
Okay.
February 17th of this year, I had got into a little mix of trouble. Um,
Oh, I remember this.
okay, yeah, I got into a mix of trouble with this man that lives behind me. Uh, I didn't know how to keep my mouth shut. After all I've been through, I still didn't know how to keep my mouth shut, and I was arrested. When I got out on bond, with an ankle monitor and a PO
Mm.
while I'm out on bond. I quit smoking weed. I had to, but it's been coming to a point, months before that I wanted to quit. I just nothing pushed me over the edge to quit, and then I quit smoking weed, and so now I am what 8 months, almost 9 months,
Yeah,
clean and sober of everything
everything.
except my medication. So it's been a progress, from my preferred, DOC to anything I could get my hands on, the K2, and then down to the weed. It's been a slow progress. And I want to tell people that are in recovery or finding recovery, because I just talked to a man yesterday. He's tried and he's failed 3 times in like 5 weeks. This is a work in progress. Recovery,
Absolutely.
yeah, recovery, and I mean hardly anybody, maybe a 1% get it right the first time. If that percentage, nobody ever gets it right the first time. And
So far, I'm not doing too bad. I got to say, but I'm a hard headed person. You tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it, you
that's
know? So, my story, Justice. And, so it's kind of, I have no choice and I don't want to, you know, my God saved me. That's all I'm going to say. My God is Jesus Christ and he saved me. And that's just a plain and simple fact. Anybody that knows me knows that. Anybody that's heard my story understands why. And he saved me. He took my addiction. And so, yes, I might be hard headed. Yes, I might put my mind. Somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm going to do it just to prove them wrong. Yes,
that
I might be that, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without a higher power.
um and see, I do agree with that stubbornness. When I'm a man, even in my addiction or when I was in prison, whatever, if I tell you that I'm about to do something, good, bad, whatever, if I tell you I'm going to, even in anger, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I may not want to do it once I'm not angry, but I'm going to do it because I
Yeah,
done
just
said I was going to do it.
even if it's wrong, I'm going to do it because now I put my word on it. Now I voiced it, and now I'm not a liar, so I got to do it.
I
You
got to
know.
do it.
So now
And
I'm very selective with my words in
words,
anger.
yes.
You
Um,
know.
well, you know what, and I'll give that to prison, right? Because prison,
Absolutely. Because we
prison
only have
taught
2
me
things. We only have 2 things.
your word.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. We have 2 things. We've got our word and and the way we carry ourselves. That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Now prison did do that for me. It taught me that a man is his word and is only as good as his word is in his handshake. So I took that out here because, and it may be old fashioned compared to like from what I see out here now, it's old fashioned. Not many
Mhm.
people value what they say.
Very
And
true.
so when I said that I'm done with this speed, I meant that. When I said I'm done with this, I'm done. I am done. There is nothing I feel. There is nothing in this world that will make me pick up this bowl again
That's
because
right.
I don't want it. But I've also reached this point. Now, here's the good part of all of this story. Um, and a lot of it recent since I've quit smoking weed. I've become a recovery coach for a lot of people. Many that I meet off of TikTok. My hashtag Texas Prison Talk has 11.3 million hits in the last 3 years.
Nice.
Um, and so it's like a brand name, right? I'm still a saying from American Gangster with Denzel Washington. It's a brand name, and I stand behind that brand.
Yeah.
So when I say things or I do things, and people see me, whether on Facebook or TikTok or Clapper or YouTube, when they see Texas Prison Talk and Justice, they know what they're going to expect. They know what they can expect. Um, I enjoy helping people. I went through a time that of that self guilt, that self hate, that self regret because I could not forgive myself for the homes that I've destroyed, the families I've destroyed, um, the lives that have been taken from this world because of my actions. Um, and there's still sometimes I deal with it, but not as frequently as before. I used to sit here and I would cry for no reason because I couldn't get past forgiving myself, right? I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. Once I found that I could, I found a way in forgiving myself. As many people as I hurt, as many homes as I busted up and all this, I want to fix that. And the only way I can fix that is finding people that were in those similar situations or in my situation and
Correct.
pull you out of the darkness to where I am now. Try
Absolutely.
to lead you out of the darkness, out of addiction, out of the institutionalization that plagues a lot of convicts' minds, especially convicts. We come back out here. A lot of us guys, we come out here and we're taught you don't all that bitching and crying, all that oh boo hoo me shit. That shit don't fly. This is something that I like to break open because if we don't talk about it, if a convict doesn't talk with it about to somebody, they're gonna fall back.
That's
They're
right.
gonna fall back. And I understand not talking to a therapist or going to a
Yeah.
group, people that have never experienced some of the things that we have. I like being this ex-convict that has been in that box, that wears the tattoos, that has done the deed, put in the work, just like the next man. And I
Yep.
want if you don't talk to them, come talk to me.
That's
And
right.
this is something that I stand behind. And I'm gonna make this known, not just the convicts, but our COs as well.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
if we're gonna be
They've got
fair,
a tough job. They've got a tough job. You know
oh
what?
man,
I
I just
respect
yeah,
them because they get a choice to leave and come back and stay, you
and they
know,
come back.
and they come back and 90% of them are human. It's only those very rare 10%, 5% that give all the others a bad name because really all they're doing is feeding their family and putting food on the table for their family.
That's it. A lot of things that I did to some guards
Yeah,
make
me
me
too. Shit
make me
bombed,
speed up.
fucking
Oh boy, first one I ever did. Woo. Anyway,
man, shit bombs are the worst. If nobody knows what a shit bomb is, take a shampoo bottle, put feces in it, put piss in it, put rotten milk in it, and let it sit for about a week, and dump it on somebody and see what happens.
ooh
That's a shit bomb.
boy. Um,
Yeah,
but as much like I said, as much as I have fucked up the world, I find joy now in fixing the world. If even if it's one person at a time. And I have found a success rate in this that I did not think possible when I started following in my coach's footsteps. Um, and I'm gonna just throw a few out there. Lacey, Elijah, uh, Tracy. Um, there's so many here on TikTok that I have never
mhm,
met, but I got letters inside a stack of people that have written to me just off of my videos and the things that I share, the things that I want to push people to be like me, and that gives that success rate as small as some people think it is. That's what helps me in my recovery. That's what helps me in my mental health. That's what helps me, get just get out of the prison mindset that's stuck in my head. That we do recover. My buddy Jimmy,
mhm.
hashtag another 24.
Another 24.
Today,
Jimmy
yeah.
McGill.
Um, That his last name? He from
I
up
think
in
so.
Maine?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Okay. Uh, he's a welder up in Maine.
Oh, okay, different Jimmy, but okay, I know
Um,
which one you're talking about.
Jimmy, uh, Jimmy Attic. I gotta show you his stuff one day. Um, but a lot of these guys, like I enjoy not helping people. I enjoy walking through the struggle with
Mm,
other
with
people
somebody.
because a lot of us fail, and I say us because I include me. A
Yeah, me
lot of
too.
us fail when we don't know we're in a fight.
Yeah.
We're in a fight and we don't even know it.
You know,
Um,
my advice, I'm gonna ask you some questions here, but
Go
on
ahead.
that on the fail thing, I go everywhere prepared to fight now. And that comes from prison though.
Yes,
And every day of my life is a fight. Every single time I wake up, that's a fight. It's a fight to roll out of bed. It's a fight to find something positive. It's a fight to choose the positive. It's a fight to choose to do whatever I'm going to do that day. It's a fight because realistically, I could just do nothing and just rot.
yes.
I choose to fight for the day. And so when you're talking about not all of us know that it's a fight, you're right. Not all of us do. And when we're not prepared for that fight, it makes it worse. But when you go to sleep expecting to fight the next morning,
It's tiring.
it is. I don't get much sleep, but when I do, it's like 10 hours at a stretch and I'm out. You're not waking me up, you know? But my questions to you is in early recovery, early recovery, how did you deal with the triggers, the emotional triggers, not only, let alone the using triggers? How did you deal with the emotional triggers and the emotional regulation?
Um, the substance abuse triggers, I don't really have a usage trigger.
Me either. I mean,
That's all I got to say.
we relate
Now this,
on that a lot.
this.
Yeah, yeah, same. You know, yeah,
Okay.
you know,
I do this, and yes, I think about boy, I used to blow some big old clouds, and that's about it. I knew that was going to happen. My dog ran off. So my wife, she dabs every now and then, um, and the stuff sits there, right? And I look at it. I like the smell of it,
yeah.
but it doesn't give me an urge to do it and to do anything.
I've
Um,
got like 5 of them sitting around my desk and 2 in my pocket just so I can be within reach of one. But the one I've got now is more like a fidget spinner, and that's what I use it as, is a
that's
lot
what
of
this is.
times is a fidget spinner to keep
It's
the hands
something in my
busy.
hand. My mental health. Now that's the one that I fight with. The isolation, the paranoia has been really easy lately. The PTSD, the survivor's guilt. Uh, every year around the day that I got out, uh, I'm usually no good. Last year I was better. Last year I didn't cry. I didn't do anything. So hopefully this year will be better. And it does take time to heal. A lot of people don't give themselves that time. They're like, man, look, I've been out 6 years already. I should be this. I should be that. I should be this.
No.
Time, as much as we say time heals, there's no time limit on healing. Um,
And here's another thing. Don't compare everybody else's
to yours.
highlights to what you are, where you're at right now, because you're there on purpose. Everybody is where they're exactly where they're supposed to be on purpose.
Um, the highlights, that right there. Look, especially because I know quite a few people like on TikTok, that watch the recovery community. Maybe they don't jump in all the way and they'll screen watch from the outside, or
Hmm.
they'll jump in and they'll wait to not get noticed. They don't
Hmm.
say anything, but they sit there scroll and watch, scroll and watch, scroll and watch. This is for them. Excuse me. 98% of the time on whatever social media that you watch, everybody only posts
The
their
successes.
yeah, the highlights, the A game, the weddings, the vacations, the
Yeah.
hey, look, yay me. Nobody ever shows the B sides. And so that is what a lot of my platform is about when it comes to mental health and recovery. I want you to see the pain. I want you to see the tears. I want
The
you to see the
struggle.
struggle and the frustration and the damn man, when am I going to get a break type shit? Because
Yeah.
that right there is what people will connect to because so many suffer in silence. And I say this all the time. Do not suffer in silence. This is why we recover out loud for those that suffer in silence.
Fact.
Um, don't compare yourself to everybody's highlights, like you just said, because that's all they show on social media. They don't hardly anybody shows what's going on off this screen.
When the doors are closed and you're crying, or
Um,
and you're struggling just to take a shower a day, or you're struggling just to leave your damn place to go to the store. Literally, Justice, I got to tell you this because last week I went to the store last week, go grocery shopping for the first time this month, I think, you know, and it took me getting down to my last ramen noodle. Yes, ramen noodle.
I still
It
eat
took
them.
me too. You know, it took me to get to my last ramen noodle to go to the store. I was out of everything. I don't drink the water in Florida. I'm never going to drink the water in Florida unless it comes from a bottle. So I'm out of everything. I'm out of soda. I'm out of bottled water. I'm out of everything. And it took me that far because I had no choice to do it, you know. And I go to the store and I fucking hate the damn store. You know, that's the worst place in the world.
You asked about a fight that I do, and now I can go to Walmart, I can go to HEB and go grocery shopping now, but I'm able to control what's up here. When
Mm,
I was first getting out, I'll say the first 2 years. I'm gonna give me some leeway. The first 2 years out, uh, I would go to HEB and I would not be able to grocery shop with my wife. And my wife was going through her own things, right? Um, she had a fear of being in public for her own reasons. And as a man, I'm supposed to be there to protect, as her man, I'm supposed
mhm.
to be there to protect her. I would see all these people moving around and I would a panic attack is the best way I can have people relate to it, but I don't think it was a panic attack. Um, I would freeze up. I would have to put my back to the wall to where I could see everything else, and I would have this urge, and it was hard to lash out at people that were walking too close violently, just start knocking people out that were too close to me
Mm,
because again, if we you look back at what I said, my dad, I didn't have no love. My family, I was in and out of hospitals and shit. And nobody ever gave me a hug. Then the violence with prison, and then the gangs, and then my homeboys. You know, I was just taught violence. I was not taught that people to be near me, and to be safe. There's the thing. I was not taught that I was when people were close to me that it was okay, that it was safe. And I would run out of the store trying to
yeah.
get myself together. Now here's the fight. If I'm in an aisle, instead of running directly towards the door, first I started walking. I would force myself to deal with whatever I was going through, and I
Yep.
would walk to the door. The next time, or the next couple times, I would force myself to continue to go down the aisle and come back up another one and go out the door. And I would force myself a little bit more. Now, this is something when it comes to mental health, excuse me, that I do suggest. A lot of people will hit their panic attack or their anxiety attack or whatever it is, and they hit that flight mode.
Right. Fight
Force,
through it.
yeah, force yourself to the very limit before you give in to that flight mode. Force
Absolutely.
yourself to the limit and then give yourself 10 more minutes. or
Yep.
5 more minutes, whatever it may be. What if it's 2 minutes, if it works for you. And sooner or later, you're going to be able to push that boundary a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. Um, my PTSD, uh, now this I do not like making TikToks about because, and I'm not ever trying to take away from somebody else's trauma, ever. My PTSD is not an uncomfortable feeling. It's
Mm.
not something that I shy away from because I don't like the situation or whatever. I snap immediately while I'm sitting here. I will snap. I will glaze over and blank out of this reality. Um, I'm ashamed to say I've hurt my wife. I've hurt
Mm.
people around me because I am not in this reality. I've attacked cops uh, because I am not in this reality. I do not see a green yard in a chair, my wife right here, the therapist right here. I do not see that. I just see bodies, usually from whatever experience that I've had, and I violently lash out at them. And it takes somebody to knock me out or something just as traumatic that snapped me in to snap me out. And when I come out, I do not have any recollection of my episode. I don't know what I did, who I did it to. Um, and I get overcome with guilt, right? And I'm gonna get to this. I get overcome with guilt because I know I'm a violent person. I know the violence I'm capable of. And now
Absolutely.
I just committed that violence on my wife, somebody around me that I love, on cops, on the
Yeah.
cops. Thank God they understood or they were willing to understand that I was not
Right.
just a guy. I was out of my wig right there. Um, and actually, that was at the Burke Center, and I have to have people tell me what happened, and it's scary to come back into a reality knowing what could have happened. You know, and it feels shameful because I can't control myself sometimes. Now, here's the thing. Here's how I have helped myself. I got a punching bag back there on the back porch, right?
Yeah.
And I'm marked. I write the things that bother me, my PTSD, my homelessness, my anxiety, my survivor's guilt, my dad, whatever is the problem that is up here, I write it on there to make it a physical thing. And when the kids would go to school, Caitlin would go to work, and I'd be here by myself. I used to put on some headphones and listen to something that I know would get me angry. You listen to some nice upbeat country, you kind of get happy. You listen to some sad music, you're gonna get sad. This type of shit. I would listen to angry music and allow myself to purposely get triggered because I'm here alone. Back off, I'm 40 miles from anywhere. So I can't go and hurt nobody except a tree or some animals or something. But anyway, but nobody's here to get hurt. And I would trigger myself while I'm by myself. And it's like I would do this every morning in a way to get it out of the way so that when I snap back and people would come home, I wouldn't have to worry about the issue when I'm around people. And it
Right.
became a way of me learning to not control my PTSD because you can't control it. There is no control over it, but to learn how to deal with it, learn how to cope with it. I think that's a big word. You can't deal with that. You learn how to cope with what's wrong with you. You learn how to cope with your panic attacks. You learn how to cope with your anxiety. Once you know your triggers, once you know the functions of what's going on, it's easier to know how to deal with it. If you
Right.
don't know what's going again, if you don't know you're in a fight, you're going to lose every time.
Absolutely.
If you don't know what triggers you, if you don't know what smells trip you out, if you don't
Right.
know watching a prison movie, shot caller, felon. If you don't know the
Dark color's a
emotion,
good one. That's a hard one for me because I
acceptance is real.
it is at 100%, 100%. And so I've got a few more questions for you. Like, what is your self care? Self care. What do you do for self care? What have you done for yourself lately for self care?
Ignore myself. If I'm gonna be honest, I go out of my way to help somebody else so that I can ignore myself. But in the same instance, I believe that is self care because because I will find people that are struggling the same struggles that I have had or that I am dealing with. And as I work with you through yours, okay, your social anxiety. We talk about HEB, we talk about the growth. The more I sit here and I walk with you through your struggles, it makes me pay attention to my own. And if I just sit here, if I have it my way, I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to
Right.
ignore it. I ain't going. Yeah, I'm like you. I'm not going to go. But if I talk with you about yours, I feel a connection, and I don't
Right.
feel so messed up or so embarrassed, so shameful about it. And it forces me to, well, hold on. He's just like me. And it's like a drawing board. It's like working a puzzle. When you work a puzzle, when you work somebody else as a
Yep.
puzzle, you see like, man, this is me, this is me. Maybe I can make this connection for myself. And so when I do help somebody, um, I look back upon myself and my own struggles. Um, Now, I do believe in building a structure for yourself. I do believe in boundaries. My boundaries and my standards are non-negotiable, not just to strangers or other recovery, like to my wife, to my
To
mother, to my
everybody.
family.
Everybody is included in boundaries.
Yeah. While I am very, very selfish when it comes to my mental and my drug recovery, I am very selfish. If I'm not going to give into it, I'm not going to allow nobody around me to present me with that option, of breaking. I don't, I believe in boundaries, and I think my next step, so as I can get off this monitor, I have not allowed myself to go out in public, not to the store, not to the grocery store to go get a root beer or something, but to go socialize in public. I have eliminated all that. I've isolated myself until I feel I can get right, basically. Now, my next step is to go out in public and learn how to deal with people again. Because in the beginning, I couldn't. In the beginning, I couldn't. I want to be violent to everybody. Um, Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be nice to everybody. I'm sober. I'm not soft.
Right. And that's where a lot of people get things confused just because we got sober, just
Yeah,
because we're clean, just because we're working a recovery, whatever recovery that works for you, does not mean we're still not the same assholes and dickheads we were.
yeah. I'll smoke. I'll peel your wig back real quick. But here's the thing: is that I've worked at why I should peel your
Yes.
wig back. You know what I mean? It used to be if
For
I
any
went,
reason.
well, if I went out to eat with Caitlin, I'm sitting here eating, hovering over my plate like somebody,
Not
like
like prison,
so if I'm hovering over
just like
my plate
prison. Yep.
and I make eye contact with you more than once,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what are you looking at? You gonna pay for my food? You want this? What's your problem, bro? And I'll walk up on you, and you don't even know you did something wrong. You just made
Right.
eye contact. Now I am to a point to where can I help you? Not hey, bro, what the fuck you looking at? Now it's like, hey, can I help you? Do you know me? Do you recognize me or something? And my voice is not as aggressive. It's not as confronting, you know.
Right.
And I think I need to learn now, take these things I've learned take these things that I think I am now capable of and actually institute them in my life to where I am not just always isolated and all I deal with is animals, you
So
know.
as you know, we're streaming this on TikTok too. So real quick, I'm going to ask anybody out there on the TikTok world if they have any questions they want to ask or any topics they want to bring up. Ask
Yeah.
them to Justice, and I'll read them out to them.
Uh,
And
yeah, by all
go
means,
ahead.
I'm an open book.
And for that, so we're talking about my going to the store just a minute ago. I've got to go places like I own it. Literally, I've got to walk into a place like I'm the owner, I'm the boss. You can't fucking touch me. You're fired. Donald Trump, you're fired. And that's the way I've got to go into it.
I'm still that way. Let me get my coffee, step back outside. I'm still that way. Now I think some of that is prison, but I also think that is just me naturally. And I'm a little old dude, if y'all can't see. Little old me. Only about 180 pounds. Yeah, I'm gaining weight like crazy. Um, I'm 178 as of 2 weeks ago.
So tell me about the punching bag that you've got on your porch there, if it's still there.
Um, yeah, let's take a walk. Move, buddy. Get ahead. Oh, let's take a walk back here. So now I'm gonna just use this for instance, and this is a fear of mine. Caitlin wants to move to Missouri, after my case is over, and she wants to be around her family and whatnot. Now, when I go to a new place, if I walk through an apartment complex, if I walk through a store, I don't move for nobody. Like you said, I own this. I run this. I have a dominant
Right.
issue, and I'm
It's my
going to
space.
be,
Don't
yeah,
invade it.
I'm going to be the alpha. I'm going to be the dominant person wherever I'm at, around whoever I'm at, or around whoever I'm around. I will be the dominant person. And if I meet somebody with that same alpha mentality, that's where we're about to fight, do something to figure out who's about to be on top.
Right.
Um, and some of that, I guess, is from prison, but I really don't. I think I've always been like that. This right here, I don't know. Yeah, right here. Can I turn this around?
Yeah, you can.
Let's see.
I
All
think
right,
so.
here we go. There we go.
There
And
it
it's
is.
backwards. But anyway, like my PTSD, my self guilt, regret, self hate. Um, my dad, I feel like I'm uneducated. I'm not uneducated. I just didn't finish school. I'm smart as fuck. My addiction, drugs, survivor's guilt, how I used to look before I got my teeth
With the
big
teeth.
ears,
Yep.
broken
Yep.
teeth. Everybody makes fun of me. Um, I worry about money the more I go on in life because I know that now it's not
Years
about
locked
buying
up.
cars and chains. It's about supporting my wife and kids and family, my time locked up, um, my homelessness, all of it. Hell, just being me. So I take these things that are in my head, my social anxiety, my hate.
No
Um,
family.
yeah. Um, well, I mean, like I
Why
have
is
family,
why is your
but
name Justice there circled?
because I began being justice when I started running around with an organization when I started prospecting.
Yep.
And it's like everything that justice has done, besides these last 3 or 4 years since I've made Texas Prison Talk, has a negative ring to it. When you come through my town, when you come through my county, my name rings and people will either walk on the other side of the road or they will watch how they walk around me. Um, and a lot of it is bad reputation. Now, what I view as a bad reputation, and I need to get past
You're
that.
living
So
it down.
so I'm trying to rebuild this name. So
Right.
and that's a big thing. So I take everything that's in my head, right, and I put you can't really just like knock yourself in the head and get it fixed.
Right. Social
So you take
anxiety.
this and you this is where my anger would come. I'm angry at all of this. I'm
Yeah.
angry at this. So, and I would, damn, maybe I ought to put gloves on before I bust my
Yeah.
wrist.
Don't bust the wrist. Don't bust the wrist.
But and it helps. This has helped
Yeah.
me a whole lot because I was able to take what is not physical and make it physical.
Right.
And I was able to, I'm able to release. I need to add a lot more on here. I need to cover it up. That was my goal, was to cover this whole thing up. And it's been a while since I wrote on it. But I think that shows in itself that I'm not as angry as I once was, that
Right.
I haven't punched on this in a while. And a lot of my anger has dissipated. I
And
actually
what
smiled.
was the original purpose behind that punching bag?
Um, Something for me to be angry at, so I wouldn't go out and lash out at people. Um, every morning I would get out here and I'd work out right here, my pull ups, my weight bench, my boxing bag, and all these woods right here behind me. I start off down this way, but all these woods behind me, they have a trail. They have multiple trails. And that was where I would run and run and run until I would tire myself out, just like in prison. Um, a lot of people work out in prison really because it's a necessity, but to feel good, to look good, to get big and bulky. But a lot of us push that concrete because we're mad at something. We work out to as a stress release. And so I brung that out here. And believe it or not, my TikTok followers bought me that punching bag. Um, they bought that for me. They sent me the money, sent me to Walt Academy. About
How big is community in recovery for you?
I say about 75% of it. Um, uh, but recovery is also tied to my mental health. Now, here's two things that I've learned about recovery. There's a lot of people that are just genuinely straight addicts. First time they hit it, this switch clicks, and they're
It's
not ever
switch
going to put
flip.
it.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of people, and this is a majority that I've found while doing this, is that a lot of people develop an addiction while using drugs as a band-aid to their mental health.
That's the side effect issue.
And that's really how it gets you, because you're tired of dealing with whatever you're going through. So we drink to pass out, or we smoke to not feel a certain way, right? And before you know it, you have developed an addiction to where, dude, I go out here to the trap house. I know right now I could go out there and I could watch somebody hitting or shooting whatever, and they'll be crying about it. Like, they will genuinely not want to do it, but they need that drug so bad, or they need that bottle so bad that they have to have it, regardless of rather how they feel. They don't want the shakes, they don't want the withdrawals, they don't want to feel again. And a big thing about people coming to recovery that are finding their new sobriety, um, you know, I have a friend, she's across the ocean. She just celebrated her 1 year, I think about 3 weeks ago. Her biggest thing was the feeling. Is in recovery, you have to learn to feel again. You have to, the good, the bad, the ugly. You have to accept feeling again. We thought we were feeling while we were using or drinking. We
How do
would
you how
feel.
do you how do
Go
you
ahead.
deal with those feelings now?
I don't give myself the leniency. Let me explain that. Let me explain that. There are some days Now I don't have full blown depression. I don't have that. But there are days where I just won't have it in me. And I'm not worth it. I'm fucking worthless. Look, I'm already in trouble and I'm going back to prison. I have a chance. I'm going back to prison and like sliding back on everything that I've fucking worked for.
Mhm.
And I just don't fucking want to deal with it. So I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to wallow in it because I don't have the energy to get past it. And here's how it is with me. The first day, it's a bad day. That's fine. Every one of us is due a bad day. We're not all going to
Absolutely.
have good days. Yeah, we're all due a bad day. It's okay. Grant that to yourself. If you just need to say, hit that fuck it button, that's my favorite thing. If you need to hit that fuck it button and just sit there and just cut everybody off and just deal with it, have a bad day. Have a bad day. It's okay. It's part of recharging. Have a bad day, get it out your system. Day two, I'm like, damn, okay, now I know something's messed up. This is probably what's wrong. And I go through day by day three, day four, I get angry at myself. My anger is my default emotion, and we all have a different one. Some people get angry, some people get sad, you know, some people just get tired of doing it. Everybody has their own default emotion. Mine is anger, and I'll get angry at myself, and I'll look in that mirror, and I'll do what a lot of my buddies in prison used to do for me when they see me in this state. They yank me up by my collar. Hey, look, bro, all that bullshit, kick that shit
Yeah.
out the door, bro. We ain't got time for that type of shit. You got to get out here. You got to program. You got to work out. You got to do this. You got to stay on point. We got the parlay, bro. We got a buddy's birthday coming up. All this shit. So I'll get in that mirror and I'll do myself that way. Like, look out, dude. You got these kids. You got Caitlin to take care of. Um, whether it's however I
You
take
got
care of,
dogs
just
to
listening
feed.
to
You got, yeah.
I got dog feed. I got out here to deal with. Need to get out here and mow the grass. I need to do my chores. I need to go talk to dad. Dad probably, eh, just talk. I have things I need to do other than sit here and wallow about myself. So you need to get the fuck up and you need to get to it, man. All this other shit, it ain't worth it. It ain't about. It ain't enough for me to say fuck it and quit. And so like that third or fourth day, after that, I'm done. Um, and I was going to make a video on TikTok today. Probably do it this afternoon. I got to figure out how to word it. But I heard something in a video the other day. I was scrolling through YouTube, and it was about quitting. Us in recovery, we live for today. Another one of my sayings: yesterday don't is gone, tomorrow ain't here. Today you matter. Because today is all we got. Okay,
I'm
it's
gonna
just
send you well, you know what? A buddy of mine, Pete versus Anxiety, is in the chats on here on YouTube with us,
okay.
and he just said he wants you to come on his show. So, Pete, I'm gonna have him email you, and
Yeah,
you set up a time that you can interview Justice. I know that you two would get along great. So,
yeah.
uh,
Anytime. Um,
yeah, he should. Pete says you should consider motivational speaking.
a lot of people say that. A lot of people say a book. A
You
lot
know,
of people say, I just don't
I
know.
honestly think on motivational speaking, it's better to uh, get the adolescents, when they're dealing with stuff to stop from becoming like us,
That I like.
you know, like the 16, 17, 18-year olds that are just going to get out of school and be on the streets and they don't have anything planned out. They're just done with school and party time. That's where it starts.
That,
15, 16, 17. Those years are super important. And it's exactly what's just like Pete says, it's exactly the kind of energy that would speak to kids
um,
because you just did 14
you,
years flat.
I would like to do that, but yeah,
12
exactly.
and up. I've got a TikTok says 12 and up. So middle school, high school, you
No,
know.
that's good too. Because look, I started using when I was 13. I started hanging around with gangsters when I was about 15, 16. I prospected at 17, and um, I've never officially gotten out. I just kind of slid way back. I'm out here isolated. I don't go to church. I don't do none of that, but I also don't have people looking for me either. You know, I put in fucking what, 20, 25 years, 25
Yeah.
years. So I don't, and I'm not in bad standing. And, but also my organization don't like permanently reside here in Texas. It came out of Tennessee. Um, so there's not many of us out here anyway. That's besides the point. But I do that right there. Look, the shit that I did for my organization out here and in prison. I would love to teach kids that shit because I don't care if you're white, black, brown,
It
yellow.
don't
I
matter.
don't care
We all
about the
have
organization.
the same type of issues that we're dealing with.
Yeah, you get out here and you start doing all this right
Yeah.
here, bro. I'm gonna tell you where that's gonna end up. You're gonna end up in a penitentiary. You're gonna end up in a pine box. And look, I've been shot 3 times. I've been
Yeah.
stabbed 8. I've been set on fire. I've been strung up by my throat. I've been thrown off 2 row. I got hit with the fan motor. Uh,
I did that with the lock and a belt. I was the, I'd put in 20 years of work for certain groups. That's all I'm going to say. Certain groups on the inside of prison. I did a lot of bad things that I necessarily don't regret doing because it's something I had to do to survive,
right.
but I did them, and they put me in lockup. I mean, I was locked down for 23-1 for probably close to 5 years because of it.
God dang. I see,
Yeah.
and that's another one. Like you keep doing this out here, you think you're cool because you got your little homies and shit and whatnot. When you get locked up, you ain't gonna have no homies. When you
You
hit
don't
that
have
pine
no
box,
homies.
you don't have no homies. And when
You
you
have no
go to
homies.
prison, if you're lucky enough to go to prison and not in a pine box, let me tell you, your homies in there are going to be the ones to get you in some more shit. You go to that shoe, you go to SEG, whatever you want to call it, that
They ain't
five
sending you
five nine.
coffee.
What is it? What is this? Right here. Right here. This right
Yeah.
here for 24 hours a day if they decide to let you get wrecked. We call it 23-1. It's that one is very negotiable to the law,
Yeah.
whether they want to
If
do it
they
or not.
want to give it to you, if they want to give it to you.
Yeah, this right here, y'all. What I was talking about, the paranoia, it kicked in my schizophrenia, the sensory deprivation, the human contact deprivation. Dude, I've been out almost 6 years. What, November is 6 years?
Yeah.
And my wife, I can cuddle with her for a minute, and I'm like, man, you gotta get off me. Get off me.
Yeah.
And I don't like being touched. I don't like being
I
affected.
understand
It's
that.
just the causes of it. You're gonna lose family. Uh when your mom, your dad, your sister, your kid, they pass away while you're in there, you don't get a furlough. You don't get to go say goodbye. You don't get none
Right.
of that. You get a phone call, and they probably, if it depended on the state and the unit, they lock you up so that you don't go crazy on the unit and you lose so much. I got my radio in there and I keep it just for this. They will take all this shit right here will take
Mhm.
so much time from you that you will never get back. You can never replace it. You can never redo it. There is no reset button in life.
No.
And this right here, you think you got all your homies. I can go in
Mm.
town right now and I got about 4 dozen other white dudes that I can look to, I can party with, I can, hey man, will you help me out with a bill? Will you do this? And it's all good. But once I hit that penitentiary again, I'm the only one. I'm the one doing the time. I'm the one giving
Right.
up my family. I'm the one giving up.
But
Like,
all those people, I know you didn't have the luxury of it, but the people that care about us and the people that, were with us on the streets, they're also doing time with us.
yeah,
And just
yeah,
like being an addict, they're suffering just as much as we're suffering. And we don't even know we're suffering because we're coping with it the best way we can. And they're suffering as much as we are because it just in
if
different
not
ways.
more, if
Yeah.
not more,
Right.
because they don't know how to help us. I don't know. I don't know about anywhere else, but I know on some units in Texas, when your people come to visit you and give you that
Oh,
little hour of snacks and hugs
yeah.
and free world life, you know they get strip searched in there. You
They
know
sure do.
the privacy that they give up, And
Yep.
what it does to them just to come see you because you want to be out here in these streets thinking you're balling for a piece and chain and some new Jordans and and a little ski mask. I don't know what's up with the ski mask shit nowadays.
Oh, they got to do those ops, you know. What the
What
fuck is
you
that
doing all
shit?
this? You a badass. What you scared of the ops for? What you
Yeah.
scared for it? Because I tell you what, them laws, they know who you are. In the penitentiary, there's no ski
You're
mask. Your
you're
ops
in a
know who
book.
you are.
You
Oh
know,
man.
I've got a, so I know you probably do too. We're both registered as domestic terrorists
Yeah, by the FBI and Homeland.
by the FBI, all those lettered agencies. I know Justice is. We are both considered domestic terrorists because of the actions that we did. Even if we weren't doing anything, if you hung around more than two of them, you're automatically labeled as a domestic terrorist.
You'll automatically be investigated. You get confirmed when you start getting patches and whatnot,
Yep.
and you get out. Here's what it is: you get out. Some people are okay. Well, California, I know they put y'all on like a little watch for a certain amount of time after y'all get out. Texas, they just
And
release you. But when you go back in, if you go back, it's likely you'll go back in. They
and
keep
then
taking pictures of all this.
not only that, because you're labeled a domestic terrorist now, anytime they give you a speeding or they pull you over, they automatically got reason to search your car. They
Automatically.
automatically, two or more cops are going to pull you over. You're not getting pulled over with one. I guarantee you that. And more than likely, something's going to be drawn to take you out of a car.
Me, I am told to, like, if I get pulled over, and I've never been caught driving pulled over, I don't even have a fucking license. But if I get pulled over, no, like if I'm in somebody's car, I get pulled over and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, can we see your ID?" Or they recognize me. I'm in a small
Yeah.
town. If they recognize me, I give them the ID. They're going to ask me to step out. They're going to handcuff me and they're going to sit me in the back of the car, regardless of anything. They do
Yep.
search you. They do ask you questions. They do a full background.
Full
It's
background.
like some CSI shit on
And
TV.
if I'm riding in somebody else's car, that means they have automatically got the right to search that car too.
Even if nothing's going on, just because you're there, they're automatically associated with you. And
Yep.
here's the thing: is this shit right here, these patches, these tattoos. People think tattoos are cool nowadays. Man, I think we should come
No.
back shaming tattoos because then it was something bad and it identified the wrong crowd.
See, I've got
And
the reason I wear a hat most times now is because I've got some tattoos that I was very proud of when I was in prison.
yeah,
Very proud of. I put in work. I've got a swastika covered up on the back of my head because I don't believe in that shit. I've got some others covered up just because I don't believe in that shit. And
um,
it brings me a lot of shame sometimes having to, got this. It's made into something different, but that's why I got a hat. That's why all
yeah,
my tattoos fucking
um,
in here. I don't care now, but then I did. It was a
what?
big thing to do it then.
And I'm gonna speak on that because my wife asked me. Not lately, she hasn't, but I'm at 46%. Um, here and now, here and like when we first got together for the first few years, she used to ask me, "Is like, man, if you're gonna slide back, if you're gonna leave it alone, why don't you cover your shit up?" And here's the thing with me, and it'd be easy to, I guess it'd be easy, kinda. No, not really.
No, it sucks. It sucks.
But anyway, the reason I don't is, and it's not because I'm ashamed of it. I put in 25 years to get something, right? Now, I look at all the things I did do to get it, and now I keep it there. So when I get out the shower and
So
I'm
you
dropping off
remember
at my
it.
food, I remember
Yeah.
everything I did and where it got me.
Yep.
I also keep it, and this is a big one for me. My lightning bolts, all of it, my patches, all of it. When, like I said earlier,
Oh,
guys
I
come
got
out
the
of
bolts,
prison,
the fucking WP, the
all that,
2311, the
all
all
that.
that.
When guys come out of prison and want to change, but need somebody to talk to, they're not going to go to a therapist. They're not going to go to a meeting where nobody understands. Bro, you don't know who I am. You don't know the boots I've walked in. But when I sit here and I start showing all this, bro, I know. I
Yeah.
know. And now look at me. I want
Yep.
to take you from that prison cell to where I am now because I know, I understand, I've been there and you can relate to me. I want somebody to be able to
Yep.
see this and it's like, hey man, look, I got that same shit and I want to get where he's at. I want to be successful like he is and I want to do the things he's doing. So if he can do it, I can do it. I keep them there for a reason. And it's just for that, so that people that want to change, they want to create that success story that everybody loves. I want them to be able to have somebody to identify so they can have somebody to turn to, you know, pain into purpose, failure into success. I use these for a different reason now. I don't use them to lead people a into a fight. Hey man, here's a knife. Let's go do this. Now I
Right.
give you a book and I say, hey, let's go do this. I
Yeah.
say,
Study.
I give you
Yeah.
a cup of coffee. I say, hey, let's go do this. Because if
It's
I can
funny
take
how
this, if I can take this and I can lead you to war and possibly end your life, I can take this and lead you to a whole nother direction.
It's funny how some of the best people I know were in groups in prison. They're also some of the worst. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. There's some of the fucking worst, but some of the best people
100%.
I know are addicts and people that come out of prison.
The
100%.
most, the most, what's the word I'm looking for?
Generous,
Grateful,
caring,
generous, grateful, or
giving,
addict.
uh, yeah, grateful, grateful that they don't have to
I
suffer
like the
another
word
day.
I like the word generous. The most giving people I have ever met
Yeah.
is another addict that will sit out here, have a $5, just got given a $5 bill to go get some food,
Yeah.
and
And
they'll
they
go
will give it
spend
right
that,
back to whoever.
and they'll go spend it on somebody else so that
Yeah.
they can eat. Or hey, I got $2. Let's go get a burger. I'll split that in half with
Yeah.
you.
Absolutely.
You know, it may not fill you up, but you got to pay
Man,
for that burger.
I
You
will
got to pay
drive
for
to
that.
another
Let's go
state
do
to
that.
help out another person just on a drop of a hat, just because I might not have never been to that state. Who knows? Who cares?
Um,
You know, it's
That's
crazy.
why I got a video up on TikTok right now. It's pushed back a little bit, but oh, what is today? The 27th. So it's coming up, maybe
27.
another 2 weeks. Um, I start this time of year, and I try to do it about Thanksgiving because that's about the time that I got out. I remember the homeless shelter up the road from where I was camping out
Absolutely.
at. I remember everybody that was on the street from where I came from. That's where I didn't come. I know I grew up in a middle class home, but where I came from was homelessness and drug addiction and the streets and prison and this and that. This is where I came from. This is what
Yeah.
made the foundation that I build upon now. And I do donate. I put out a thing from a fundraiser. I accept donations, whether it's money, whether it's clothes and jackets, socks, things that hygiene, medicines, whatever. And I go and I give it to these people at this shelter. I do not give to the shelter. I don't give to the shelter itself. I give to the people
The
at the.
people
I'm
at
not
the
here to
shelter.
pay your light bill. I'm not here to pay
Right.
your water bill. I'm here to help the people that were in the shoes that I once walked in. Um,
Real quick, Justice. I know I've got another recording right after you, and it's scheduled
yeah,
for about 20
I'm
more
at
minutes.
40%.
But before you go, my last question to everybody is: I would follow Pete and ask him, "What does your depression look like in a music song?" But that's not my question. My question is, if you got one thing today to tell anybody, if you want anybody to take away one thing, and the most important thing, what would that be?
My buddy just made a song for me particularly, and it's
That's
something
Rocky Too Cocky. If none of you know, that's Rocky Too Cocky.
oh man. And I got it on Facebook. I got it on my TikTok. Boy, I tell you what, yesterday's failures are today. Yesterday's failures are today's fuel for tomorrow's success. Failure is an event. It is never a person. I don't care what you've done in your past. I don't care how bad you fucked up or that you have fallen. I don't care if you're below the bottom of the barrel in your past. That does not define your future tomorrow or today. I told you I was going to do a video, and again, I got to word it right, but I'm going to give you a rough draft of it. There's so many people that want to quit today because of what has happened yesterday or the day before, last year, last decade. People that want to quit today, quit tomorrow. Wake up with the mindset today of I'm going to quit tomorrow, and you'll make it through today. And when tomorrow becomes today, keep
Quit
that
the
mindset.
next
I'm
day.
going to quit tomorrow. I'm going to
Yeah.
quit tomorrow, and every day that gives you the chance to make it through today.
Right.
Fuck tomorrow, fuck yesterday, fuck all that shit.
Right.
Today, I'll hit
Just
that
put
fucking
it off
button
a day.
tomorrow.
You know, if I still feel like this tomorrow, then sure, I'll quit fucking being sober if I feel like it.
And then
You know?
look, you wake up and you're like, man, let's get this. Let's get this. Okay, you
And
know, I
normally
can't
you
believe
forget why you were even going through what made you feel like that anyway. Normally it's just a fleeting memory, and it's just a thought of how we used to cope with things. It's really
Yeah.
not even a craving. It's how we used to cope with things, and it's like, if I feel like this tomorrow, I'll still do it. You know?
Yesterday's failures are today's fuel for tomorrow's success. Turn your pain into purpose. Turn
Purpose.
your failures into a success. Because I'll give you a small secret that everybody knows. Everybody that is not in our shoes loves a good success story. They may not like the shit that
Absolutely.
you've done. They don't like the gangbanging. They don't like convicts. They don't like the drug addicts. They don't like all this, but they love a success story. So be
Absolutely.
a success story.
And you know, another thing is, you know, as we're going through all this shit, you got to remember that we are all here on purpose for a purpose. You may not know what your purpose is. You may not even know what your purpose is for, but just know you're exactly where you're supposed to be, whether it's to learn a lesson, to get taught something, to teach somebody something. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, exactly on purpose, exactly doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
You never know.
Yeah, I love that thing. I can't tell you where I heard it from. But tell yourself these affirmations. Ones I just said yesterday is gone, tomorrow ain't here, today you matter. Failure is an event,
right.
never a person. Recycle your pain. Recycle your pain. Don't let it just sit there and use you. Use it. It's
right.
how you word things in your head, and it don't seem like it works right now. Some fortune cookie telling
works.
bullshit. Yeah,
It works.
it may not. Here's this. You ever heard the thing? If you tell a lie enough, you'll start believing it.
You'll start believing it. If you tell yourself the day is freaking great, you're going to start believing
You'll
that
start
too.
believing it. So do that to yourself. Give yourself that much. Forgive yourself. Because I
Yeah.
tell you what, there's a whole train passing you by every day
Yep.
with people on it that believe in you, except you.
That's right.
Jump on that train, and I promise you're going to have a whole team behind you. All right,
You
man.
know,
Look,
and for everybody out there, I love you, but that's me. That's Justice over there. We got to go. I got to go. I don't know what Justice is doing after this, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about charging his phone and, you know,
I got
and charging his
monitor.
ankle monitor. He's on that ankle monitor. We already discussed this, but you know, Justice, is a pleasure having you on here. I love you, bro.
Thank you.
I hope everything's good down in Texas, and just know that everything will work out.
It always does. It always does. Tomorrow, look, man, that sun still comes up in the morning. Still comes up in the morning, and it's still a beautiful day. So
I'm going to give Pete your number just so you know, so he can text you. So if
Yeah.
you get a Texas number, some dude saying that they're Pete from Texas, that's
I got
him.
it. Okay, no
All right.
worries. Y'all just have a great day and know your worth.
Absolutely. And on that, we're out of here. I'm Jay, Justice. Keep rocking your recovery. And until next time, peace.
Dude.